Good afternoon, Neha. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. And how about you?
All well, Neha. Thank you very much. All right. So, I believe we are speaking to each other for the first time. So, it would be good to know a little bit about you. If you could tell me something about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Sure, sir. So, as you know, my name is Neha Rana.
Yeah.
My native place is Himachal, but currently I stay in Mohali, that is in Punjab.
Right.
I'm a proud homemaker and an English enthusiast. I love spending my time in a constructive way. So that is
Lovely.
the reason I'm sitting here in front of you because
Sure. Sure.
I want to enrich my vocabulary and I want to grow my personality.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider myself a curious learner also. So
No.
uh,
Lovely.
yes, specifically when it comes to English language, I always
Mm.
love to explore this language. And in my leisure hours, I love listen to music. I love listening to
Mm.
music. Music brews my coffee, I would say. So that's all about me.
Lovely introduction, and love the fact that you uh, are absolutely unapologetic about being an enthusiast of the English language. You not necessarily have to have a goal कि विदेश जाना है इसलिए अंग्रेजी सीख रहे हैं, right? Nothing like that. You
Yeah.
are an interested person in the language, and that makes you passionate about it, and then you're learning it. Lovely. Absolutely blown by your introduction. All right,
Thank you
Neha,
so much.
thank you for that. I'm Madhav Anand. I'm from New Delhi, and I'm your tutor for this session. I'm a public speaking coach and a communications mentor. Let's begin with the session.
Sure, sir.
Sure. All right. So, just a bit of understanding of your background. How you got started with this English learning? I mean, not English Yari particularly, but this
Okay.
enthusiasm around English. And is there a goal that you have set for yourself? Because it's okay to have a goal as well.
Yes, actually, I'm not looking for any job, or as you just mentioned that I'm not planning to settle down or to go abroad. It's just a thing that being a homemaker, or first of all, being an Indian, I
Hmm.
think speaking in English, it's one of the biggest phobias when it comes to middle class people or government school children,
Right.
because I belong to a rural village in
Okay.
Himachal. And
Right.
if I talk about my schooling, I am a master's in English. I did my master's in 2005.
Okay.
So when I did my master's, it was my dream, or I was expecting that after completing my master's, I would be able to speak fluently, but it didn't
Mhm.
happen actually.
Correct.
So I think since my childhood, it was there that I
Mm.
always wanted to be comfortable with this language.
Okay.
I never ran behind fluency or perfection. I just wanted to be comfortable, and
Ah.
I have come a long way in my
Mm.
journey, and still I know there is a long way because what the biggest hurdle that I face is being a
Mm.
homemaker. I am confined within the walls of my home. I
Okay.
don't step out. I miss that exposure.
Mm.
So it was hard nut to crack when it comes to adapt fancy idioms or phrases. So I just want to give this message to each and everyone, because that it's just a language. Don't take it as a status symbol or something that without English we cannot do anything. It should not be there. Just
Perfect.
acquire it as a skill, as any other skill like
True.
cooking or drawing or painting.
Right. Right.
Love your journey, and
Mm.
just to reach or just to achieve your goal, don't just miss the journey,
The
this
joy of
process.
the journey.
Enjoy
Right. The
this.
joy of
Yes,
the journey.
right.
Mm.
And if I can do this, being a homemaker
Yeah.
and being a government school
School
student,
student. Mm.
if I can do this, everyone can do this. It's just a
Correct.
matter of consistency,
True. True.
determination, and your
Mm.
mindset, I would say.
Mm.
So that's it, sir. That's the reason I'm working on my communication skills.
Right. Lovely. I mean, absolutely impressive because the the lack of privilege because of a rural background, because of going to a government school. Now, I'm not demeaning a government school, but obviously in government schools, you don't have an environment of English, right?
Right.
So, yeah, taking that into consideration, and also that you are a homemaker, right? And that you don't have the luxury of exposure to a
Yes.
working environment where English comes as a natural language. Uh, in spite of the lack of all these three things, you have come so far. And congratulations for being who you are. I don't know how far you're going to take it, how many years you will devote yourself, but the person that you are in itself is an achievement. It
Thank you
doesn't
so
matter
much.
whether you're achieving English or driving or swimming or flying, I
Hmm.
don't know. But then the personality that you have, that eagerness to learn something, and how wonderful you put it, that it's about getting comfortable with the language and
Right.
not feeling that fear anymore, or and that fact that you don't even want to be very fluent or very commanding on the language, just that you
Yes.
can speak comfortably to anyone and at any place with a certain confidence, right, and ease,
Yes.
isn't it?
Right.
Wonderful. Lovely. I would take this as a lesson for so many people who struggle with the idea that I come from a background where English wasn't a
Yes.
natural language. Sure. Thank you for that. All right, Neha. So, what is the topic for today? Let me check. Importance of arts. That's the topic for
Right.
today.
Right. So before we jump into the conversation
Uh-huh.
or the topic, I just want to ask you one question. Actually,
Go
this
ahead.
question I often ask to my tutors or to mentors
Sure.
because you deal with so many learners,
Yeah.
and I guess you have given solution to their problem. So I
Right.
would like to know your point of view. What is
Mm-hmm.
that common fear that you come across while dealing with learners? What is that
Mm-hmm.
common hurdle, that is what to say obstacle in learning this language, and how to overcome that?
See, there's no one answer to that. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but learners come in different categories. One is a very basic learner who is not able to frame even one sentence without making multiple mistakes, or
Hmm.
not even able to frame a sentence, forget about mistakes. That's for that learner, or for that category of learner, the obstacles are different from someone who is at your level, right? And you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
For that
Yes.
basic level learner to be able to express thoughts from mother language and translate them into English is
Hmm.
itself the burden. They're not
Right.
able to jump over that small hurdle, which is not small for them. It is mountainous in size for them. It may be a
Hmm.
small hurdle for you or for me, but not for that particular person, right? So at that level, simply translating thoughts from mother language to English is the biggest hurdle. They don't know how to frame a sentence. So let's say they want to say that मैं अभी चाय पी के आया. How do I frame मैं अभी चाय पी के
Hmm.
आया? Right? If putting every word, translating every word, and then framing them into one sentence that makes sense, that itself is a big hurdle. Now, coming to someone at a intermediate level, for that person, there can be different problems. One can be an introverted personality, right?
Hmm.
They know how to speak, they have good sense of grammar, but just because their personality is just too closed, they find it very hard to speak to people. Someone who has a vibrant personality but has tremendous issues with grammar, that person
Hmm.
has different issues. They're very excited, full of energy, but they don't even realize how many mistakes they're making in a sentence.
Right.
Correct? So different levels of people, different levels of hurdles. There's not one hurdle that I can talk about. Someone at your level who is almost good at expressing articulative are struggling with something called building that continuous fluency. Right?
Hmm.
That gets stickiness sometimes when you get stuck with a thought, not able to
Hmm.
articulate words, not getting right words. Right? I believe you are currently at that level. I'm just guessing right now. I don't have the perfect
Right.
knowledge of you.
No. Hmm.
You're
Yes.
able to speak well, but then suddenly you're stuck at a certain
Yes.
word or a certain expression, and then juggling for words and finding this and that, and then just maintaining the flow somehow. Right? So
Yes.
different levels, different problems. Perfectly fluent speakers, but stuck at words and vocabulary which is basic. Now they want to become a Shashi Tharoor. How do I become
Oh,
that? Right?
right.
So there are different levels of problems for different levels of people. Yeah, but then thank you for
Wow.
asking that question.
No, no, it was, I guess, perfect answer to my question because commendable. I completely, I would like to say, I see eye to eye.
Yeah, it is, may not be a perfect answer, but then yes, this answer fits into the
Yes.
question. Sure. तो शुरू करें अंताक्षरी. Let's see what it is.
Yes.
What is the importance of arts in daily life? Okay, are you an artistic person? I mean, you don't have to be an artist as such, but artistic as in someone with creative thoughts or creative ideas. What do you think? Are you an artistic person?
Yes. I think if you are a homemaker and if you are a mother, uh, that artistic quality comes naturally. It is because if in terms of draws to draw something, or I don't consider myself a painter, or I'm not good at drawing at all. But
Hmm.
yes, when it comes to groom my home, to decorate it, then I can say that I'm pretty good at grooming
Mhm.
not only myself but my home also.
Okay.
And specifically when I'm cooking, so I always love to add something, add a new
Hmm.
flavor to my dishes. So I think that's, for me, that's also called that's also one form of art. It's not, art is not
Culinary,
only about drawing anything.
culinary art. Yeah, culinary art.
Culinary art, yes.
Hmm.
So yes, I consider myself a little bit, not a very perfect artist, but yes.
Hmm. Okay,
I
perfect.
am.
And is there an importance of art in a person's life?
Yes, there is, because
What
I
is
think uh, we need to be artists
it?
just to break that monotonous chain of those boring or routine stuff. So
Hmm.
let's say if I'm cooking Loki,
Hmm.
so it's going to be very dull for
Correct?
my family members. But yes, if I add some artistic qualities, as you just mentioned, in my culinary skills, just
Hmm.
if I use my culinary skills and I just give it a twist, I add
Correct?
some flavors, or I add anything that
Hmm.
enhance the taste of this Loki. So it is going to make this boring sabji or boring vegetable to tasty vegetable. So I
Hmm.
think art enhances the beauty of life.
Hmm. Um, is there a purpose of art? I mean, I'm getting a little philosophical. Feel free to dodge the question if it doesn't suit you, right? Is there an importance of art, like as in purpose of art, not importance? Does it necessarily have to have a goal or a purpose, or do you think art can simply exist for being art as it is?
It depends, actually,
Hmm.
what I believe. And yes, somehow this language is going to restrict me in terms of expressing myself. But I will
Hmm.
try to present myself in a best way. Yes,
Yeah.
actually, sir, it depends on person to person. For
Hmm.
some people, just it is not a very crucial thing. Art
Hmm.
means just to draw something, as I mentioned earlier, also
Right.
to draw something, or to cook for to cook anything new. So they are not going to pay much attention to this skill or this asset of life. I would like to call it an asset. So for
It
me,
is.
yes, for me it is no doubt it is an asset, but it's also an emotion.
Hmm.
Because again, I would like to give example of uh, like I am a mother, so I would like to connect with my culinary skills whenever I prepare food for my son. So
Hmm.
that is not only dish for me. It is going. It is. I try to pour my love, whatever I cook for my family, for my son. So for me, that is one form of art. Whatever I'm
Okay.
doing in the kitchen, right?
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
if I am presenting myself right now, I am trying to uh, trying to organize my thoughts. So I
Hmm.
think this is also a form of art. It's not only about language or communication skills. It's also a form of art, how capable you are to present yourself the way you
Hmm.
want to, or how
Hmm.
capable you are to connect with your learner, sorry, with your audience, or
Hmm.
whosoever is listening to you.
Hmm.
So art has a vast area. It has so many dimensions, and it
Correct.
depends on person to person how one is going to take that.
Lovely. Right, true, absolutely. Art is so subtle in nature that you cannot confine it to a certain dimension, that this is art and
Right.
this is not art.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And if you are conversant with modern art, very weird
Hmm.
things are considered art, something that you cannot really fathom as art, right?
Right.
From your perspective, or maybe my perspective, or maybe you,
Hmm.
for you, it's art. For me, it's not art. That's why art is not something confined by place or time or definition, because it keeps on changing. For
Right.
someone, cooking food could could not have been art 50 years back. Today it is art. It is
Exactly.
particularly considered as art, right? It's a very prominent form of art. Right, lovely. What a wonderful conversation we had. All right, so moving away from that conversation, tell me about your initial struggles of speaking English, maybe 10 years back or 20 years back, whenever you started that journey, and you felt like
Mhm.
this is, maybe there's no particular date to it, but then still it was always in you that I want to develop myself into a good speaker or maybe a smart speaker. What were the initial struggles you had, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, sir. So, the very crucial challenge, I would say, that was lack of exposure because, as I told you, that I am a master's in English, so I was pretty good at grammatical structure.
Mhm.
I still, I am good at grammar, but when I am speaking, when I speak in normally when I am having a random conversation, I know I am making so many silly mistakes. But the thing is, I am not right, like now only, now also I'm not able to, I am able to rectify those
Hmm.
mistakes. I am not able to avoid, because I'm still in that process.
Hmm.
Yes, initially, I
Hmm.
know that I can speak in a better way, but the thing is, whenever I dare to step out to start a conversation with anyone, most of
Hmm.
the time I was speaking with my son's teachers. They were
Hmm.
all today's generation,
Right.
pretty good at their communication skills. So every time I I was in that zone of giving up. It was
Correct.
like nahi hoga, chhod de Neha. You have missed so many things. Now it's been a long gap, and
Hmm.
you won't be able to match their level.
Hmm.
So, but I consider myself. I have a strong mindset. So
Right.
when I try to have conversation with my son's teacher, most of the time I was having conversation during PTMs only. Otherwise,
Right.
whom to talk with? That was the biggest thing for me. And I never missed any free demos. I try to take like Camly, Clappingo, all the free
Right.
demos.
Right.
Never. I always grab that opportunity.
Correct.
The one feedback that I always got from my tutor, that your vocabulary is kind of old version. You need to work on your vocabulary.
Hmm.
So, sir, I would like to mention here, when I did my schooling, for us it was A to Z. But
Correct.
when I restarted my journey, it was A to Z. So
I agree.
these things, these really trouble me a lot. Again,
Hmm.
I was taught three forms of verb, but now
Hmm.
there are five forms of verb.
We
ING
want we
form,
took it before
auxiliary,
we
yes.
can.
So there were so many things, gerunds, infinitives. We never came across these things during my school time.
Hmm.
I was not told by my teachers gerund kuch hota hai, infinitives kuch hai, participles, conditional. They
Right.
still trouble me a lot. So
Okay.
there were so many things that I that were pushing me back,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
somehow I kept on trying. I kept on
Right.
working on my
Kept on
communication skills.
learning.
And yes, then coronavirus hit the world, and that was, I always say that that period was kind of eureka moment for me, because as I mentioned, that I love spending my time in a constructive way. I am not a person who will just vegetate, who loves to vegetate his or her
Hmm.
time. So that time I started taking online tuition classes,
Hmm.
and that was the time when I started recording myself and posting my videos on social media,
Okay.
because I want to practice, and this
Hmm.
was the best way to record yourself. And along with that, I wanted to connect with the people also, with students
Right.
also, so that I could start online classes and I could start earning money, because
Right.
I am very economical. I wanted to earn, and then that money I wanted to invest for my communication skills, just to
Sure.
have these kind of classes. So I
Right.
started taking these kind of little steps, and
Hmm.
this is how I build my vocabulary, and how I gained that confidence, and then came EnglishYaari. I
Hmm.
found this platform pocket friendly, so I invested my money, my time, and I am now I am in front of you. I can clearly see that confidence in me
Hmm.
Earlier I used to get stuck. I was literally, I got panic, or I got nervous while
Hmm.
having these conversations. I know now, also I get stuck, but I don't bother much. Whenever I get stuck, no, I don't bother much. I have not that fear of making mistakes or fear of being judged by people. So this is how I reached here, sir.
Oh, see, it's brilliant the way you have had your journey. I don't mean to say that it has been all easy for you, but whatever achievements you have today, looking at the backstory, when I go back to the young girl who was in school, did not have the access to English conversations somewhere in a village in Himachal, up in the Pahads, right? And the journey until now has been fantastic, to say the least. And fantastic is the effort you have put, the creativity of efforts you have put, right? The way you have managed your money, your time. And as you said, it was a eureka moment when COVID happened and things and the world went online. It was
Yes,
already online, but everything went online. Online became the normal.
right.
And perhaps that's called creating an opportunity out of a disaster, right? So
Disaster.
absolutely impressive. Very impressed with you, Neha. Extremely impressed with you. Sorry, out of time today, but yeah, if you have any quick question, any quick doubt, feel free to ask. I'll anyway give you my feedback. It's a short feedback, nothing much to bother.
Okay. How to avoid grammatical mistakes while having these kind of conversation? Because I'm pretty aware all the grammatical concepts, but as I mentioned that I still make these mistakes. So, what should be my next step?
Slow down a little more. I don't mean to say that you are fast. I think you are pretty good. When it comes to the pace of speech, it is pretty good. But once you consciously slow down a little more, you will see that you have more control on your speech and more control on the words that you're using. Just
Okay.
consider this particular sentence that I spoke. I did not go fast. I had absolute control on every word that is coming out of my mouth. Correct?
Okay.
When you slow down consciously, conscious attempt of slowing down can reduce your mistakes by and large to a lot of
Sure.
extent.
Sure.
That's
Thank you
one.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
I think the only thing that you need to do more is
Mhm.
probably do a bit of a writing, because you are
Okay.
already a very thoughtful person. I don't know how much time you have. I'm very considerate of people, adults particularly, because to give
Mhm.
gyan and expect people to do is different. But
Yes.
how much time and bandwidth they have is entirely dependent on their real life settings. So if you have a little more time, invest in essay writing. Get a good essay book, standard 9, 10 essays, or just go on the internet and find some good essays.
Mhm.
Read them, write them, rewrite them in your own understanding. That will help
Okay.
you develop your critical thinking, as well as sentence structures and vocab, and everything will get better with that. Try that out
Thank you
if
so
you
much.
can.
Yes, sir. I'll definitely work on it. Thank you.
Sure. All right, Neha. Thank you. Have a good day. Hope to see you
Yeah.
again by
Sure, sir. Very soon.